Hello and welcome to Forever Rugby on Forever Sports. And this weekend, the Currie Cup is back in full swing. 3 matches in 2 days, 2 Friday games, as well as a Saturday game. We will be live definitely on Saturday. We're still trying to work out what we're going to be live for tomorrow. But today we're going to be talking about the Western Province versus the Bulls down in Cape Town at Newlands Stadium. So after all the, we've left Newlands and stuff like that. Well, they're back actually. So bit of a sort of a false start on officially leaving Newlands. But it'll be nice for Western Province to be back and play a game like this, once again back at the old stadium. But some big names back for both sides, and it should be a very interesting clash. The Bulls look terrific against the Lions. They could do no wrong. They looked, in the first couple of minutes, they were running and trying to fun, and they looked very dangerous. And the Lions had chances to try and come back, but sort of struggled to finish them. And by the end of it, it was a very comprehensive bonus point victory for the Bulls, who continue to be favourites in this competition. But you've got to think if there's one side that can try and stop them, it should be the Western Province. Western Province and Sharks, but I think the Western Province I would argue, have got probably a better squad in terms of some of the players they've brought back, some really good experience. Yeah, I think it's between the West Province and the Sharks to who can sort of stop the Bulls at the moment, and everybody else sort of, with that sort of outside sort of underdog mentality. But some very big names named on both sides. Very interesting sort of where people are playing and stuff like that, and what we might be able to see on the night itself. So if we start with the home side, which is the Western Province. First things first, you'll notice a very big name back on the bench. Warwick Gelant is set to end his 9-month recovery on the side after doing his ACL, and has been named on the bench. But we'll get to him. So in terms of the starting lineup, Leon Lyons, Scoey, Intermediate, and Deathling Bashir. I've been quite impressed with Leon Lyons, who sort of stepped up. Wow, we've known about Deathling Bashir, we know about Scoey and Intermediate, but Leon Lyons has kind of been sort of in the fringes, and with no Ali Mark, he's now been giving a bit of an extended run. I think he's actually done quite well. No Ernst van Rijn this weekend, which we'll see David Mayhe's slot into that number 4 jumper. He's got JD Schikkeling next to him. Nama Klaba, Johan de Tooy, and Evan Roos will be the loose trio. Really, really good to see Klaba getting some more game time. It's such a very talented player, but has had his injury issues and is struggling to sort of put together a bit of a campaign. And Evan Roos, we know, is somebody who's causing a lot of attention across the country, pushing quite far, trying to maybe end up in that end of year tour. I think that he's a very, very exciting player, and he sort of just keeps putting performances week in, week out. The halfback combination will be Paul de Wet and Tim Swiel. I've also been very impressed with Tim Swiel of late. I think he's really sort of settled down at the Western Province. Thought it took him a bit of time. He wasn't particularly impressed when he first started playing. I think now he's playing some very, very nice rugby. And then there's pace, and more pace in that back three. Edward van der Merwe, Siabela Sinatla returns after injury, and Cyril Peterson at full back, who was very, very good against the British and Irish Lions. So those three will be looking to try and make a bit of a statement. And then Dan du Plessis is partnered by Jean de Jong, who will captain the side this weekend. Jean de Jong, back from overseas, we've seen sort of glimpses of him, and I think that'll be really good to see. I think as the more he plays, the better he'll get. He's a really, really experienced player, very, very good player, X factor, everything you need. Very, very nice guy off the field. And then on the bench, the very impressive and exciting Andre Hugo Venter continues in the number 16 jumper. Dion Bleder and Saze Sunday are the other two props. And then Dion Fourie has been named on the bench. Usually the Western Province name their bench, 16 to 23. So, in theory, Warwick Gelant and Marcel Tennyson shouldn't be involved tomorrow in terms of how they normally name their side. So if that is the case, then Dion Fourie looks like it could be covering flank, which would be quite interesting to see. And then Simon Miller, the youngster, there at number 20. Then Godlem Asimla, Chris Schroeder, and Rickers Pretorius are other 3 backs. But the only reason I sort of question that is that, Warwick Gelant, they talk about Warwick Gelant being, sort of back from injury and really good to see him on the bench, and yet he's in the 24 jumper. So is he really sort of on the bench? Is he just in the 25 that they're taking? What's the story with them? So I'm not quite sure what we're going to see. Dion Fourie's played flank many times, so it's not a it wouldn't be what's the word I'm looking for? It wouldn't be foreign for him to be doing it. But I think, given the fact that for me, I think hooker's a bit of a worrying position for the Western Province moving forward, probably more so than loose forwards, I would sort of be thinking that they'd be trying to play him in the front row. But yeah, in terms of the Bulls side, Marcel COETZEE has overcome, apparently it was COVID-19 that kept him out last weekend. He's overcome that. He's been named in the starting lineup and will captain this side. They've gone back to Gerard Steenekamp, Johan Kobela, and Mornay Smith. Quite a usual front row to start. Jake White enjoying being able to sort of deploy your Lizo Kaborka, Jacques Van Nooy, and Shevan Yakane in the second half. But he's gone with his younger front row. Then Walstein and Bruno Kia are very, very solid in that combination, very settled. Marcel COETZEE in the number 6 jersey. Muller 8, I think, has been quite impressive. Very, very good, exciting youngster. And then Ulrich Loh at number 8. So it's interesting to see how these sort of swap around. You know, when you get Dwayne from Newland, and you probably think you should have Dwayne, Marcel, Muller, Ace will shift to the number 7. I mean, not Muller, Ace, our Low will shift to number 7. So it's quite interesting to sort of see how they're sort of conditioning or creating their back three so they can sort of be anywhere. Which is very, very good for depth in terms of injuries and stuff like that. The halfback pairing, Zach Berg and Johan Goosen, will continue to press, through an outrageous no-look over his head pass last weekend. So, it brings a lot of flair to the Bulls, which you don't often see. It's quite a different sort of concept, seeing a flair player at the Bulls. And then the rest of the backline, Richard Creel was very impressive last weekend on the wing. Cornel Hendricks as well. The centre pairing of Harold Forster and Lionel Lapu played a lot of rugby together. And then David Creel there at full back. On the bench, Skalki Rasmus, Liesel Goboka, Jacques Van Nooren, Janko Swanepoel, Nizam Carr, Keegan Johannes, who had a very nice cameo against the SAA. Chris Smith and Sibongile Novuka will be the bench replacements. Two very, very good sides. You have to back the Bulls as favourites, and I'm probably going to have Bulls by 5 as my prediction, but never write off the Western Province, especially being back in Newlands. It's very, very familiar territory. It's a good Western Province side. I just think that there's too much X factor in this Bulls side, too much power. So that's why I'm leaning towards them. But let me know what you think down in the comments below. Smash a like on the video, subscribe to the channel as well. My name is Stephen. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll chat to you guys soon.